All right, moving on.
New economy.
WeWork, everybody has heard of them, has shelved its plan to go public.
Oh my God.
I know.
Dumpster fire.
Ooh, the company that has seemed so huge in recent years. Like, what do you think about this whole thing?
I think they had a problem from the beginning because they're signing long-term leases, right? And then they're giving their tenants short-term flexibility. So right there, that spread was very concerning. And there were some real estate companies right here in New York that really hesitated to lease them space because not only is there a problem with their fundamental business model, but also they have to convert that space, right? Yeah, and they said that they would destroy the space.
Yeah,
so I guess
if I were to rent a space from them, I love the term just because it's flexible. But for
from
them,
a consumer standpoint,
for
it's
them,
great.
it doesn't really work.
So anyway, to shed more light on this, our next guest is a global consultant who may have some advice for the people over at WeWork, and I think they need it. He's the founder and CEO of Delphi Sphere Consulting. Welcome, Paul Dominguez.
Welcome, thank you.
Hey, Paul.
Nice to
Welcome
meet
to
you.
the show.
Yeah, thanks, Julia.
Getting right to it, what suggestions do you have for the executives at WeWork?
Well, from WeWork, it's all a communication piece because people communicate and they don't communicate well. And that's one of the biggest things that we go after when we try to develop high-performance teams is to bring on, a whole different set of communication skills. Because people don't hear what you say; they hear what they think you said, and then they act upon that as opposed to what you really want them to do.
So WeWork had a lot of issues, right? It's not just the business model. A lot of it's management, and a lot of it's what you're talking about, communication.
Right.
So how do you fix that with a company that's grown so fast?
Well, first of all, you got to start at the top. You can't go into the middle. You got to go up to the top and then work your way down. And you've got to reinvent the culture because the culture that's there is not one that's all aligned in developing the business. So you've got to get the whole culture reestablished in that. And that's usually what happens when they do these reworks and all of that.
Rework. So what type of companies do you typically consult? Do you consult these type of, startups out of control?
Well, we do work with startups. We work with Fortune 500 companies. We work with entrepreneurial companies. We work with executive teams. So we work with a whole group of different people. We're not a-specific to any industry either because we do a lot of soft skill training in the area of communication or strategic thinking or strategic planning or leadership. So, and one of the places I would go after first in rework is really WeWork, sorry, is to really look at the communication that's going on because there's background communication conversations that aren't being spoken. So
there is an inside joke among the consultants I know that usually consultants are hired to do whatever the executives have in mind already.
Oh,
they have decided to do something, and they just need a third party.
They need your rubber stamp, yeah.
Right, they need your other stamp. What's your view on that? And if you approach it differently, exactly how do you approach it differently?
Well, first of all, that's not how we work. We'll go in and do a research phase where we'll go in and interview, a good 40 to 60% of the staff to find out what's really going on in the background. And then we'll come back to them and let them know what they're going to need in order to go down a path they want to go down. We may not agree with that path. We may suggest a different path. But we typically don't go in and say, rubber stamp what they want to do.
Are they honest with you when you go into an organization?
Well, this is the thing that happens in the research phase where we do the interviews. A lot of things get unearthed that they don't know about. A lot of background conversations, cultural things, water cooler talk, all of that stuff starts to get seen. And then when it's brought to light, it's all done in a confidential interview so that there's no, people to go pointing fingers at or anything like that. It's really the culture that gets unearthed. And then when they actually see the culture they're dealing with, they know that that's not where they want to go. So.
Wow. So do you think that entrepreneurs and, startup founders face a lot of these same issues, whether it's a big company, small company, et cetera?
Oh, yeah. It's not much different. We worked with a New York-based branding agency for the last 5 years, and we picked them up about a year into their startup, if you want to call it. And in the last 5 years, they've grown from 2 people to 10 people. They've literally 5-folded their income in revenue. And they're doing great. And that's all out of getting all the particles in right. from the strategic plan to having a future that they're fulfilling and a game worth playing kind of thing. And then getting the communication and how to communicate and getting the culture set up so that whoever they hire, they literally are hiring them into that culture and they're aligned with that culture.
Yeah, for young people who are just starting to attend to this brainchild of theirs, and they obviously want to grow at light speed as fast as possible, what suggestion do you have in terms of communication for them that they can actually do today?
Well, the first thing I would recommend is make sure you got a vision. Where do you want your company to go? Something that's long term, something that is literally won't get fulfilled, but it's where the game you're worth playing. So that vision has to be in there. And then the second piece that has to be in there is the core principles. Why do you exist? Why do you want to have your company? Where do you want to take it? So all of those things want to get identified up front and get articulated in a way so that it wakes you up in the morning. So you get excited about going to work because you're out to fulfill this.
Here's my thing with this is I think people rarely go into a venture that important without having a long-term vision because they think that is their calling and they have a long-term plan. The problem is if you're running a place with people and paperwork and rent to pay, it's very easy to get caught in the day in, day out operations, right? We only have 24 hours a day. Our energy is limited. How do you keep that long-term thinking when I'm really digging through, God, how I'm going to pay my bills tomorrow?
Yeah, well, it is complete. You got to have a comprehensive strategic plan. And that plan, it literally goes out for the year and then out for 3 years. But then you got to work it back to what you're going to do today. And then what are you going to do tomorrow? And you got to make sure that you're following the steps you created. And if it's done very well, it'll keep you on track.
Well, Paul, on that note, thank you so much for imparting your wisdom on us. Hopefully the entrepreneurs out there are paying attention.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
We left you with a gift. So if they go to the website, they can get a free evaluation of their team.
Okay.
And they can find out where they are. And we're offering a free consult to let them know how to be able to elevate their team.
And what is this website?
It's delphisphere.com/BoldTV.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Ingenious marketing.